I remember competing against all these girls who I looked up to for a long time. And it was just so cool to me to be backstage and seeing them in person. It meant the world to me. I thought I was just in heaven, just being on the same stage as them. And little did I know that I would exceed my expectations that day, because not only did I meet the girls and got to compete with them, I also ended up taking first place. I was such an underdog. I was such an unknown, and here I am, just a rookie, winning the Olympia. It was such a crazy moment for me. I cried on stage. I couldn't believe it was actually happening, and I felt like Cinderella that day. In 2014 and 2015, I also won the Olympia, and I had that same feeling, but those times I was a little more seasoned. And each win meant so much to me, and I can recall the exact moment I was on stage and how I felt and how I was shocked when they called my name. And it's just an incredible feeling that is unlike any other. It's one thing to meet your goals, but to exceed your goals is way more rewarding. And I will say this, keep your goals realistic and attainable and work up to bigger ones. In my entire career, I never assumed I was going to win any show. Even when I was on a winning streak, even when I was in a smaller show, still, I never assumed I was going to win. I always hoped for the best, but at the end of the day, it's out of my hands. I know I tried as hard as I could, I gave it my all, and that's all I could do, because at the end of the day, I cannot control who shows up. I cannot control in what condition they show up. I cannot control how the judges are going to judge the show. I cannot control what their preferences are. The only thing I can control is myself. So that's the only person who I focus on. I often get asked, Ashley, do you think you're going to win again? And my answer is, do I think I'm going to win again? I don't think I'm going to win again. I hope I win again, but that's all I can do. I know I'm going to bring the best I can, and I know I'm going to give it my all, and I know that I'm going to step on stage knowing that this is my passion and this is my moment. But as far as the final outcome, I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'm a very realistic thinker, and if I'm looking at numbers and statistics, I would say the odds are against me. At the same time, the sport can go so many different ways. It's anybody's game. My season so far has been incredible. I had taken third place at this year's Arnold Classic, which was a pretty good showing for me. And I also took 2 first places at various shows this year. One of them is the Denver Mile High Show, which is a show that means so much to me, and also took first place at the NorCal Championships. I am very pleased with the look I brought at these 2 shows, and so were the judges. The look I brought at these 2 shows was a little bit smaller, a little less muscular, a little softer, but it worked for me. The sport of bikini is sometimes hard to explain to somebody because it's not the biggest or the leanest, the most muscular or striated. In fact, those things are looked down upon in bikini. You have to have the right amount of muscle, an hourglass figure, and just perfect proportions. I like to explain to people it's like a fitness pageant, and they're kind of looking for that fitness cover model look. Not too ripped, not too soft, just a great balance. And that's a look that I've always admired myself. So the sport of bikini wasn't too far away from my ideal anyway. As a former collegiate track athlete, I already had a great base to start out with that propelled my physique to the next level. I didn't have to adjust too much of what I was doing physically, but diet was the hardest part to adjust from my track career to now bikini. My diet right now, as a bikini athlete, it gets stricter as I get closer to the show. But in general, when I get close to a show, about a month out, I will usually start cutting my carbs and stick to a lot of vegetables and protein. And empty calories I try to get rid of as much as possible during these last few weeks because, you know, you're just in the home stretch, so it's not like a permanent thing, but I will admit my food gets quite boring towards the end. This year, I traveled a lot too. I traveled to see my coach, Adam, in Denver, and we would train a lot. If you guys noticed, I was out there in Denver so much, and that's because I was getting some great training. Coach Adam is amazing. He's the best coach anyone could ever ask for. And anytime I'm out in Denver, I'm so focused and I'm working so hard. And you guys see it on my YouTube channel and my Instagram snaps. Like, he is really pushing me. He's such an amazing coach. He cares so much about the athletes. And I think what really separates him from the other coaches is that he is so passionate. He gets just as excited about shows as me. It's almost like he's up there competing. So it's pretty incredible to have a coach that's just as enthusiastic as you are. During this season, I had dealt with a very minor knee injury. I was running a 10K race actually, and during the middle of the race, my knee started hurting, and I've never had knee problems before, but it started hurting. I actually had to drop out of the race and just Uber back. I was like in the middle of the woods and everything. I just had to pick up an Uber on the side of the road, which is funny now, but at the time I was in quite some pain. It was a minor injury, but it was just lasting forever. It was just a bruised meniscus, which, as you know, isn't serious, but it really kind of prohibited me from doing cardio to my max this year. So I wanted to do more shows than I had done this year, but the knee was kind of holding me back a little bit. My current training right now is, you know, it's very cardio focused right now, to be honest. And that's because I have all the muscle I need at the moment, but I need to get lean and I need to stay lean. And for the show, I really shouldn't be too muscular. I might have been a little too muscular at the Arnold this year, but I definitely slimmed down on the muscles a little bit. I definitely need to focus on upper body training more as well. So you'll see me doing a lot of shoulders just to try to get my upper body to match my lower body. Before I end this video, I just want to give a special thank you to High Tech, my sponsor of 2 years. They've really been behind me and supporting me through my entire journey, and they love to see me compete and they love to see me do well, and I really enjoy having them as a sponsor. They have been incredible and amazing and so helpful. I also want to give a big thank you, of course, to my coach, Adam Bonilla from Team Elite Physique, who has been just Team Ashley since I had started training with him. And I can't even imagine where I'd be without him. Honestly, I don't even know if I'd be competing right now if it wasn't for Adam. And I also wanted to thank the supporters out there because honestly, like I had mentioned in my first statement of the video, what motivates me is the fact that I can motivate you. So thank you in return for the motivation and support. It just puts a big smile on my face when I receive positivity from you guys. So you are awesome.